Leadership is a capacity to translate vision into reality. Good evening. Warm greetings from Bishop and Swami College of Education, Bhutta session. It's my pleasure to welcome you all on this webinar entitled Beyond Authority, the Art of Transformational Leadership. It's my privilege to welcome our esteemed resource person, Reverend Dr. Arnold Matesh, Dean of Philosophy, St. Peter's Pontifical Institute, Bangalore. We are honored to have you share your expertise with us today. Your insights will undoubtedly enrich our understanding and inspire us lead with great purpose. Welcome, Father. I would
Thank
like
you.
to welcome our college secretary, Reverend Dr. S. Alvin Madan Raj, for his valuable guidance and support in organizing this webinar. Welcome, Father. It's my privilege to welcome all Reverend Sisters, Reverend Fathers, Provincials, Superiors for this webinar. Your presence is a blessing, and we are grateful for your presence. Welcome, dear Fathers and Sisters. A heartfelt welcome to respected principals of various colleges and dedicated staff members of our college and other colleges. We are grateful for your commitment to excellence. Welcome. With great joy, I welcome all the research scholars of various institutions, student teachers of various colleges, and our own students, and all the participants who have joined this webinar. Let us join together, learn and explore, and become great leaders of tomorrow. Welcome you all once again. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm happy to introduce a resource person of this webinar. In a world where leadership is often reduced to titles and comments, today's theme invites us to rediscover the profound beauty of
Leading not only through power,
not
but
only
through purpose, empathy, and humble service.
through power,
It's a call to shift from mere authority to
but
authentic
through
transformation,
purpose,
echoing
the
the
timeless
timeless
system
system
of
of
servant
servant
leaders
leaders
like
like
Don
Don
Bosco,
Bosco, who
who
taught
taught
us
us
to
to
guide
guide
with
with
love
love
and
and
inspire
inspire
with
with
humility.
humility.
We are truly honored to have us our
We are
guiding
truly
light for
honored to
this
have us
evening.
our guiding
A
light for
man
this evening.
turning principle
A man turning
into
principle into instinct.
Reverend
Reverend
Dr.
Dr. Arnold
Arnold
Matesh,
Matesh, who
who
was
was
born
born
on
on
27th June
27th
1975 in the serene coastal village of Kadiyapattanam, Tamil Nadu. Father Arnald's journey is
June
19 intellect and
1975 in the
commitment.
Serene Father and unwavering commitment.
As a Salesian priest of
As
the
a
Trichy
Salesian priest
province,
of the Trichy
ordained
province,
on 29th December 2004 at the Lourdes Shrine in
ordained on
Madurai
29
by
Madurai
Most
by
Reverend Peter
Most
Fernando.
Reverend Peter Fernando.
He has dedicated his life to forming minds and hearts in the spirit of St. John Bosco. His early formation took him through the hallowed halls
In the
of
schools of
Nalaya
Nalaya
Salesian
Salesian
College
College
in
in Airport and Divyadan
Nashik
in
in
Nashik,
Nashik,
where
where
he
he
earned
earned
his
his
bachelor
bachelor
and
and
master's
master's
in
in
philosophy.
philosophy.
He
He
ventured
ventured
across
across
continents
continents
to
to
Leuven
Leuven
in
in
Belgium,
Belgium,
completing
completing
an
an
MPhil and a
MPhil
PhD in
in
philosophy in
philosophy in
2015,
2015
with a
with a
groundbreaking
groundbreaking
dissertation
dissertation
titled
titled
The
The
Ethics
Ethics
of
of
Human
Human
Enhancement,
Enhancement,
a
a
critical
critical
assessment
assessment
of the
of the
pursuit
pursuit
of
of
perfection.
perfection.
This
This
work,
work
later
later
published
published
as a
as
book in
in
2017,
2017
explores the
explores the
moral
moral
frontiers
frontiers
of
of
human potential
potential
fittingly.
fittingly.
themes that resonate deeply with transformational leadership. Today, as a Dean of Philosophy at St. Peter's Pontifical Institute in Bengaluru, a prestigious center of theological and philosophical excellence since June 2022. Father Arnold shapes the next generation of thinkers and leaders. His illustrious career spans over 2 decades, from serving as a principal and dean of studies at Jnanodaya Salesian College, where he also edited the esteemed Jnanodaya Journal of Philosophy and Religion, to leading as a director and parish priest at St. Saviour's Church in Savaria Palaya, Dindigul. He is a prolific scholar with over 35 articles in journals like Indian Theological Studies and the Vedan, contributions to national and international conferences on bioethics and synodality, and co-authored manuals on Salesian youth ministry and psychosexual formation. His voice has graced webinars, retreats, and even Mother TV programs, inspiring thousands on topics from ethical leadership to spiritual renewal. Father Arnold uniquely qualified to illuminate beyond authority. It's not just his academic prowess or administrative acumen, it's his lived humility. As a retreat preacher for seminarians and religious community, a seminar facilitator for educators and formators, and a previous speaker on Be an Effective Leader in 2020, he has walked the path of leading with purpose. It's my profound privilege to introduce Reverend Dr. Arnold Mahesh. Dear Father, on behalf of Bishop Anjiswamy College of Education, Muttam, and all the participants gathered here, please join me in a warm round of virtual applause. We look forward to your valuable insights and guidance. Over to you, Father.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, Father.
Okay. Can you see my screen? My screen is seen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible enough? Just to check.
Yes, Father. Comfortable.
Okay, then I will continue. So first of all, thank you everyone, all those who are organizing and all those who are participating in this webinar on the topic Beyond Authority, the Art of Transformational Leadership. To lead with purpose, transform with humility. Let me begin with an anecdote. You know, today people have interviews even in a KG section. So there was a school in which interview was conducted for every candidate who is aspiring to become, trying to get admission in that school for every candidate. So there appeared a father and a little daughter to get admission for KG section. And the interviewer, the principal asked that father of the child, does your child have leadership qualities? And this father, without any hesitation, immediately said, no, my child does not have leadership qualities. It is not a leader, but it is a good follower. So whatever you are teaching her, whatever you do, whatever you instruct, my child will be able to follow that. Now, the first point I like to highlight at the beginning of this webinar is, if you and I want to become efficient leaders or transformational leaders, we need to be first followers. We need to follow various virtues, values, and so many other instruction or rules and regulations, guidelines given by any institution to which we are a part. Now, coming to leadership in general, there are some who are born leaders, like born singers and born dancers, etc. Some are born leaders, that is innate in them. Without making any effort, they could lead a group that is entrusted to their care. Some are elected leaders. Some become leaders because they are elected by a group of people, and on account of their election, they start exercising either the leadership quality that they already have, or they begin to cultivate and exercise their leadership. The third category is appointed leaders. Some are appointed as leaders, for example, maybe leaders of a classroom or leaders of a group in a school or a college. So they are appointed. So following their appointment, they will try to be a leader of the group to which they are appointed. And fourthly, trained leaders. For example, some of us who are attending this webinar may imbibe some, or to say, instruction or values that are being shared during this reflection and try to put into practice. So like this, those people who follow a program or a seminar or a webinar or a course on leadership, they are called as trained leaders. The next category is those people who have never exercised formal kind of leadership, but they wish to be leaders. And the last category is there are some groups or some people who think they are leaders. So they may be leaders, or they are not leaders actually, but they think they are leaders. We need to check to which category you and I belong to. Now, quoting John C. Maxwell from his book, Winning with People, I like to give you 7 important qualities. We will see one by one briefly. The first quality of a leader in general. Okay, the second part only will deal with the transformational leadership. Before that, we will see leadership in general. After that, we will see 5 yes leadership. That is leadership styles starting with the letter S. So 5 different styles we will see. Then we will proceed to transformational leadership. So how to put people, if you want to become a leader, how to place them or how to deal with them. The first quality is personal warmth. Secondly, appreciation for the difference in people. Thirdly, consistency of mood. Fourthly, sensitivity towards people's feelings. Fifthly, understanding human weakness and exposure of their own. Sixthly, ability to forgive easily and quickly. And lastly, authenticity. Now, let us briefly deal with all these 7 qualities that are essential for us to become a leader of the people. First one, personal warmth. Just because someone is a human being, these people immediately start liking them or loving them. So Christian Bouvet, who says, kindness is a language that dumb can speak, the deaf can hear and understand. So if you and I are kind to people, people will automatically like us, because everyone likes to be treated in a kind way. So when we experience kindness and when we express kindness, we practice automatically the first quality. So we need to generate personal warmth towards people we meet. Secondly, appreciation for the difference in people. We need to remember no 2 people are the same. Even the so-called identical twins are not the same. They have a lot of physiological, biological, and psychological, skill-wise, talent-wise, abilities-wise, they are different. So a good leader does not look for people who are alike, but they look for people who are different from them and start appreciating them. So we need to avoid the tendency to look down on people who do not have our own strength. So we need to appreciate for what they are and who they are. We have to handle our weakness to see how people can complement and help each other. So the second quality is try to locate the difference in people and appreciate the difference, not just the sameness alone. Thirdly, consistency of mood. Now, there are people who suffer from inconsistency of mood. Morning, they will be very joyful. Afternoon, they will be little moody. And in the evening, they are completely, out. They put on a long face and go. No, sometimes we don't know, unpredictable people, we call these people. At what time, what type of mood they will demonstrate or exhibit, we don't know. So people should not ask, how is he today or how is she today? Can I go and meet that particular person? Is he in good mood, etc. So mood swinging people are never approachable. So we need to be predictable. People should be able to speak about us. Yeah, this man is a kind person. This man is a approachable person, and his mood is stable. So a good leader's mood is stable. The next one is sensitivity. Sensitivity to people's feelings. So, everyone is an emotional being. We have what to say, our own feelings and emotions, and we demonstrate our own feelings in different way with the different people. So we also have our own feelings, and emotionally we need to be steady, but we cannot expect others also to be emotionally steady. If you and I want to be leaders, then we need to practice this habit of being emotionally steady, at the same time understanding that not everyone is a leader and everyone may not be emotionally steady. And the next quality is understanding human weakness and exposure of their own. So we need to be honest about our abilities and our own shortcomings. And publicly we need to accept in front of others, yes, I have this quality that is my weakness. For example, I am a short tempered person, please try to understand, I am working on it. Or I am not so good at elocution, or singing, etc., but I can join you in group singing. So a Chinese proverb goes like this: blessed are those who laugh at themselves, they shall never cease to be amused. So if we are able to laugh at ourselves, especially about our own weakness, then when others laugh at us, we don't get hurt, because we know what type of people we are, what talents I have, what weaknesses I have, and accordingly, I also express my weakness to others. So if you and I have the humility to tell others, yeah, I have this weakness and I am struggling with this, and I try to overcome this, then people will appreciate us as good leaders. The next one is very, very important: ability to forgive easily and quickly and ask for forgiveness. In a group of people, be it in a family or in a classroom or among the staff or among a small group, we know people have different temperaments, different qualities, different culture, different linguistic background, religious background, family background, etc. Accordingly, their temperament also will differ. So, inevitably, now and then we will be also hurt by others, by their way of behavior, their words, their demeanor, and their indifference, etc. But if you and I want to be a good leader, we need to have the humility to understand our weakness and have also willingness to reveal. And this humility will enable us to ask forgiveness easily. And when others approach us asking for forgiveness, we also will be able to forgive them quickly. And the last one in this group is authenticity. Yeah. Good leaders are real. They are who they are. These people don't pretend to be someone they are not. They say what they mean and they mean what they say. So they will not say one thing and do something else, or do something else and tell people, no, I did not do. They are real people. They say what they mean and mean what they say. So they are at ease with themselves and also they put others at ease. So in general, I have shared with you based on the concepts of John C. Maxwell from the book Winning with People. So leadership is not only achieving a particular task that is entrusted to our care, but leadership is also dealing with people. So first of all, we need to learn the art of dealing with people by trying to put into practice some of the 7 qualities that we have reflected together now. The next slide is 6 different leadership styles. No, we are not going to see these leadership styles in an elaborate way, but for our knowledge, we know in the world there are different types of leadership, and either we belong to one particular category or we share what to say characteristics of a different leadership, and we ourselves become a different leader altogether. So I am taking inspiration from Daniel Goleman, and he has identified 6 leadership styles. Let us briefly see one by one. The first one is coercive or commanding style. No, coercive or commanding style means what is their style? They'll say, do what I tell you. This is a commanding style. Okay, do this, do that, go here, stand straight, sit, stand up, etc. We can see in a college or in a school, there are some teachers or professors, they follow this style. Okay, when I come to the class, there should be pin drop silence. Okay, nobody should talk. Okay, only in graveyard there will be pin drop silence, not in a classroom, because a classroom, a group of living people are there. But these people, since they have this commanding style, they will tell, do what I tell you. So if you do not listen, then they use threats and punishments and intimidation, etc. But this style of relationship or leadership is also good in some, what to say, context, like in emergency situations like an accident, flood, and any other natural calamity, wherein there will be a commander. We need to work immediately. We don't have time to reflect, discuss, and argue, etc. Immediately, we need to say, for example, somebody who is caught up in a fire, okay, somebody is being washed away by a floods, etc. Immediately, we have to get into action. At that time, this commanding style works very well. The second style is the authoritative or a visionary style. So people who follow this style, they have a clear vision. They are enthusiastic and able to communicate to others about the realization of the dream. They have a particular dream, particular project, particular goal to achieve, and they allow others to be creative, to experiment, and to take risks. So what is the style they follow in this? They say, come with me. So come with me, let us do together. So this also works well in some of the situations. Okay, it is particularly effective when change has to be brought about and clear direction is needed. So somebody telling us, okay, now we are in this situation, we cannot go on with the situation, there should be a change. For example, in a school or college, there are teachers, a principal, etc. They have been doing a particular thing for very many years, and now after an inspection or what to say evaluation, etc., and new policies have come in, and we have to follow different strategy. Therefore, there is a need of change. At that time, the leaders, as leaders, we need to say, "Come with me. Let us do it in a different way." And the third style is affiliative style. What is affiliative style? As you see in the picture, here people give importance to relationship. They are not much worried about accomplishing a particular work or a task, etc. There are people who come together not for a work, not for a project, but to be together, to enjoy relationship, etc. So in this style, people come first. All the other things, activities, etc., they come only secondary. This style is good in general. It is very valuable for mending relationship. For example, a reunion. People come together just for the sake of being together, share their stories, and eat together, go for a movie together, or just to have some party games together, etc. So it is not goal oriented. It may not get work done when led to poor performance go uncorrected. So it is not to be used alone. So in schools and colleges, if you are giving importance to this affiliative style, then we will not be able to achieve anything. For example, a teacher or a professor who gives excessive importance to relating with people alone and never worried about teaching them lessons, demanding from them and meeting deadlines and also reprimanding and giving corrections, then it will not work out. So affiliative style will work in some situations, but not in all situations. The next one is the democratic style. As you see in the picture, democratic style means, no, what do you think the style is? What do you think? You ask people's opinion. So democratic leaders are good listeners, they are team persons, and they are influencers. They value everyone's contribution. They tell, yeah, what do you think about it? The other person, no, you are keeping quiet. Why didn't you say something? We are going to conduct an annual day, validatory function, sports day, or school day. So let us put our, what to say, heads together. Let us express our opinion. Not everyone's opinion, will be executed, because otherwise the school day will be going on for months and years. Though there are 70 teachers, if everyone voice out, then some may think that it is a creative opinion. We have been doing this way. Why not, in a different way, as he is suggesting now? So this style works well when there is need to build consensus and generate fresh ideas. So there are difference of opinion with regard to how we can execute a particular project or a particular event. So we get everyone's opinion and we discuss together and arrive at a consensus and we execute. This is democratic style. So here people sometimes may get discouraged also. Okay, my opinion is heard but it is not executed, or I gave a beautiful opinion, suggestion, but they did not listen. They listened to somebody's opinion and they executed. So it is one of the drawbacks. The next one is pace setting style. That is, a group is there. Let us take in a college, a physics department is there, and physics professor is there, and he is guiding the students, the groups which are under his or her care, and he says, you just follow, do as I do. Okay, no, I'm conducting an experiment now, or we are solving or no executing maybe or demonstrating a particular theory or theorem, and you follow me. I do this, do this, do this, do this, first step, second step, third step, etc. So in this style, the leaders set high goals to be reached, lead by example. They set the pace and expect others to follow. So obsessed about getting things done better and faster. So there is little room for flexibility and responsibility. So the students or the co-fellow staff, they are asked, you just do what I tell you or just imitate me, that is enough. So there is no room for flexibility and responsibility. When we will be responsible with freedom, I decide to do a particular thing in a particular way, then I will be responsible. If I am just imitating what somebody does, even if it goes wrong, we will not be responsible because we are just imitating the leader who is trying to tell us. So this style is good for getting high quality work done. Okay, there is already a fixed way of doing thing. If you do this, high quality result will be there. Therefore, just follow me and you will get good results and good marks, etc. But that will be achieved, but no creativity, no flexibility, no responsibility. The next style is the coaching style. Coach what he does. Try this. Okay, for example, let us take a football coach. He's coaching a group of people and he says, okay, take a long shot from the middle of the ground, or from left corner or right corner, from the off side, etc. So you have the ball and you kick it from this side and that side in this way or that way, etc. And you will say, okay, you try this. So the leader identifies the strengths and weaknesses of a person and helps that person to improve and perform better. So in a classroom, as a teacher, we know there are different categories of learners: fast learners, or to say, moderate learners, slow learners, and those who are reluctant to learn, and those who are, those who suffer with attention deficiency, etc. So different categories of people are there in the classroom. So knowing their strengths and knowing their weakness, you will tell them, why don't you try this way? So there is another way of solving this problem, mathematics. No, difficult way is this way, easier way is this way, you try this. So this style works well with people who know their weaknesses and want to improve. Okay, a child who has, average or below average memory, so how to master a particular essay or some one word questions, etc. So it is not effective if a person does not want to learn new ways, or if the leader is poor at coaching. So two things are very important. The leader, be it a sister or a priest or a educationist or a professor or a teacher, they should be thorough about the particular thing that they are teaching, first of all. And secondly, whom they are coaching, they should have the willingness to learn from the leader. So this is called coaching style. So based on Daniel Goleman's ideas, we have seen in general there are 6 leadership style. What style is comfortable to me, or what are the styles that I am following in my classroom, or this is meant for anybody. For example, a parent, a parish council member, or a basic Christian community, an NBM leader, or a class teacher, or a sports group in charge, or a student leader, etc. So what type is comfortable to me, or what type I follow? Next, we are going to a little elaborate session before going to discuss about transformational leadership. Now I'm going to reflect with you something called 5S leadership. Now 5S leadership is 5 different types of leaderships. These leaderships are categories starting with the letter S. It is easy to remember. For us it is easy. The first S is servant leadership. Okay, in Tamil, those who know Tamil, Paniyal or Sevagan leadership. So first type is servant leadership. Second type is shepherd leadership. We know who is the shepherd, all of us, irrespective of whatever religion we follow or whatever type of spirituality that we follow, we know a shepherd. A shepherd has a sheep, a group of sheep, and he is leading them. He is a shepherd, this style. The third style is steward leadership. Steward, we will see elaborately one by one. Melalar or Nirvahi. That is, you have a particular property to take care, or a school, or a classroom, or a firm, or a factory, or a hospital, or a parish, or an NBM, whatnot. Okay, somebody is entrusting a particular responsibility or a project to you, and how we are going to exercise stewardship. That is the third style. And the fourth style is spiritual leadership. No, spiritual, immediately we should not think following a religion alone. No, even without following a religion, you can still practice spiritual leadership, how we will see little later. And the last one is self leadership. No, that is how I myself lead myself. That is called self leadership. Now let us go one by one, all these 5 different types of leadership. The first one, servant leadership. What is servant leadership? A servant leader has the motive to serve others. There are some people who become leaders so that they get all the glory. I don't work, I only delegate it to others, I have become a leader so that I will be served. Remember, Jesus says in the Bible, I came to serve, not to be served, etc. An author called Greenleaf, he says, a servant leader is a servant first. It begins with a natural feeling that one wants to serve first, that I will be the first one to serve others. So in order to serve, one may choose to become a leader. So why you want to join our group? If you somebody, or for example, a retired person after being a teacher for many years, or an army person after serving the nation for many years, or a priest after getting retired from a parish, etc., you want to become part of a group not to earn money but just to serve. So this is different from wanting to be a leader first, maybe in order to satisfy one's thirst for power or for material possessions. So once leadership is established, the servant leader people, they may try to serve, but for them service comes second. Those who are thirsting for leadership alone for the sake of enjoying leadership. So what are some of the qualities of servant leadership? All those who are participating in this webinar now have an introspection. Do I really have the servant leadership quality within me? If I have at least 2, 3 of them, we are already living the servant leadership. First quality is listening. Do I listen to others? For example, as a mother, if I am practicing servant leadership, my children will be expressing something. Amma, you are preparing the same dosa every time. Why don't you prepare something else? No, no, no. Only dosa, only you eat and go. It means you are not a servant leadership mother. So as a mother, you should be able to also listen to your children, because there is a generation gap and children's needs and wants are different. Not that you are trying to give them all that they ask, but at least listen first. Try to understand them. Second one, empathy. Empathy means somebody is suffering or somebody is having some issue, and don't judge them from outside. Get into their shoes. Walk the path that they are trying to walk and try to be empathetic. Third one is healing. When somebody is suffering, as a servant leader, you will be trying to heal them. Fourthly, awareness. You are aware of your own self as well as the situation of the group members who are under your care. Fifthly, persuasion. You persuade somebody. You don't force or command, but you tell them, if you do this, this will happen. This is the study time. Why don't you sit and study at least from 6 o'clock to 7:30? Then you have a break of 10 to 15 minutes. Then afterwards, once again, we will go for our family prayer. Then we will have our dinner. So tell them, persuade them what they need to do. The next one is conceptualization. Okay, so tell them, if you are trying to tell them, this is the project that we are trying to do, this is what we are conceptualizing, this is how, this is the idea, this is the way we will be executing. Next one is foresight. That is looking ahead, looking forward. If you do this, this is what we are going to achieve. In that way, we have a foresight as a servant leadership. The next one is stewardship. I am not saying because it comes little later. Then commitment to the growth of the people. So as a class teacher, as a servant leader, your focus will be whole time that I have committed myself for the growth of the students for whom I am working. The next one is building community. As a servant leader, as a religious community, religious leader in a school or in a college, in a parish, in a choir group or in a sports group, wherever, or even in a family, the servant leader is trying to practice something called building up the community, building up the school, building up the family, building up the parish, NBM, etc. So Jesus is the beautiful example of servant leadership. All those who know who Jesus is, all those who read a Bible, all those who listen to sermons and scriptural explanations, they know how Jesus practiced this servant leadership. So from scripture, Bible, I am quoting certain verses for you to be, to further reflect. Matthew chapter 20, 28, we see the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. Philippians chapter 2, 6 to 7, and John 10, 18, Jesus chose to be a servant. Then John chapter 10, verse 11, Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. Jesus modeled the true servant leadership by washing the feet of his disciples. And all the four Gospels report that Jesus wanted his disciples to lead as servants. You remember the first anecdote that I shared with you at the beginning of this webinar. The father has beautifully understood that his daughter is not a leader but a good follower. So, a good follower tries to be a servant first. So, the one yes is over. The second yes is shepherd leader. You know who is a shepherd? A shepherd is the one who is entrusted with a group of sheep, and he or she will be leading that group of sheep to different places, to the waters, to the mountain, to the cliff, to a beautiful, a lawn for grazing, etc. So we may describe a shepherd leader as a caring and empathetic person who is present with the people whom he serves, knows them thoroughly, and constantly communicates with them. No, now and then you make noises to make your sheep alert that I am someone here, and provides for their material, emotional, and spiritual welfare. Not only one of them. Just give them meals and don't bother about their emotional and spiritual welfare. The next one protects them from dangers, leads them to become their best selves, and is ready to lay down their life for the well being of those whom it shares. So, these people have two outstanding characteristics they will have. What are they? Trust generating loving presence and readiness to sacrifice oneself. So, a good mother is also a good leader. She will have trust generating loving presence and also readiness to sacrifice oneself. That's why good mothers, loving mothers are ready to go to any extreme of what to say, sacrificing their life for their children. So, what are some of the qualities of a shepherd leadership or a shepherd leader? The first one is presence. Now, I highlighted some qualities in the slides. You can see shepherd leaders not just being present there in a particular place, but they are friendly, they are active, they are animating, and their presence is also witnessing. So they create a relationship and they are active. They have plans and they have initiatives. Their presence is an animating presence. It's not a dead presence. They promote life. They foster talent and creativity. And also they have this witnessing presence, that is communicating values by examples. They not only preach, but more than preaching, they also practice that. Remember, people, actions speak louder than words. So shepherd leaders are aware of this. And the second quality of shepherd leader is being trustworthy. So shepherd leaders evoke trust from those whom they lead. This is achieved through patient and caring dealings over a period of time. So you are not caring just for once or twice, but it extends for a span of time. Trust is built step by step. So it is not that one day you say, please trust me and you see what miracles are. No, trust comes from the other side. Okay, by looking at us, how we behave, whether we keep up our promises, whether our words and our deeds go together, we become trustworthy persons or trustworthy leaders. The third quality is providing for the welfare of others. So, shepherd leadership know the needs of people and provide for their needs. Recently I heard one woman telling about a sisters congregation. One remark like this: a woman employee working with a social work project run by a congregation of sisters, remarked like this: this group of sisters, this congregation is trying to empower women but disempower us by not paying us just wages, although they have sufficient money. So, we are preaching about, we talk about empowering women, but we don't give them proper salary, due salary, just salary, and at the right time. Then what a contradiction. So, if you are shepherd leaders, we need to take care of others. We need to work for the welfare of others. The fourth quality of a shepherd leader is having a vision. We must know a clear, distinctive, and specific view about the future. So, for example, as teachers, we should be able to tell our students at the end of this chapter, you will be able to know these are the things, like that. Or at the end of this course, first year of a BSc Computer Science, you will be able to know these are the things, and that will take you to the second year, etc. So, shepherd leaders are clear about what they want and live their lives in pursuit of that vision. The next one is protecting and defending. Shepherd leaders are quite protective and they defend their, what to say, sheep. For example, you don't leave your students. For example, you are taking your students for a picnic, for, maybe 1 day or 2 day or 3 days. You are always protective. You tell them, now we are going to a place, maybe to a swimming pool, and the swimming pool is, the depth is this much. And those who don't know swimming, kindly don't get inside, because they are worried about their children. They are protecting and defending. Or you tell them, okay, now we are going to for shopping for 1 hour after seeing Taj Mahal in Agra, and this place is actually known for pickpocketing. So be very careful. So this is the way that as a shepherd leader, you protect and defend your people. The next one is total submission to God. Those who follow this leadership, they have complete trust in God. Whatever God we believe in. If you are a Christian, maybe Jesus. If you are a Hindu, the God maybe Shiva or Murugan or whatever it may be. Or if you are a Muslim, Allah, etc. And other religious people, their own gods. So in the Bible, we can read in Genesis 48:15, Psalm 23:1, Isaiah 40:11, book of Ezekiel 34:31, John chapter 10:11. In all these paragraphs, we can see how a good shepherd has to exercise his leadership qualities very beautifully. In simple language it's given. In our free time, we can go through this and find out how I can become a good shepherd leader. The next one is sacrifice. A shepherd leader is able to sacrifice his or own life for others. Jesus said, I am the good shepherd, and a good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. John 10:11. And the next leadership style among 5 S, the third S is steward leadership. How to understand this steward leadership? Now we must go back to the history. That is, in ancient Greece and Rome and Israel, there are a lot of farms and business run by people. That is, there is a landowner or a businessman. So the businessman can go to another country for some vacation or another business trip, and this trip could be for 1 month or a few months. And a landowner also go to another country on a business trip or whatever trip for even for 1 year. And what he does, he entrusts his land or a business to a steward. Okay, and Tamil we can say a kind of மேற்பார்வையாளர். So or a மேலாளர், a manager. So who will be managing the show till the owner of the business or the owner of the landowner comes back. So how this steward is supposed to exercise his leadership in the absence of the owner? For example, in school setting, for example, the principal is not there, the vice principal takes up the role. Or the class teacher is not there, somebody else takes up. Or the class leader is not there, somebody else is playing the role of a steward. Now, a steward leader is someone who manages the efficient use and growth of organizational resources. So what are the characteristics of a steward leader? There are some characteristics. Let us see, and let us see also whether I am a steward leader, whether I practice steward leadership. The first one, knowing the mind of the owner. Now here you cannot function as you like to function because you are only a steward. You are only a vice principal. You are only a class teacher. You are working under somebody. Your principal is there, your correspondent is there, your HOD is there. So under them I am working. I must know their mind and accordingly I need to function. Secondly, accountability. So the money that I have, okay, for example, I am working as a treasurer of my provincial. So I am accountable in front of my, provincial, accountable. So the money that I have is not my money. It is the money of the province, money of the diocese, money of the congregation, money of the school or college, and I need to be accountable. In the same way, the people who are entrusted, to me, they are not my own children. They are people of my college. So how I need to, if something happens, my principal, my HOD, they will be taken to task. Therefore, I need to be accountable. The third one is serving. A steward is able to serve others. Serving leadership we have already seen. So therefore, I am not, going to deal with. But here we need to see they are dedicated to serving the goals of their owners, team members, organization, community, province, parish, choir, whatever it may be. The next one is managing and developing resources. So you have all the resources under your care. As a principal of the school run by a group of sisters, and you are a lay woman or a lay person with the sisters or fathers, you must know the money, the skills, the things, the property, the people, the environment, the compound, the lab, the trees, the refectory, all the resources that are available there. You are expected not to own them and sell them, but to manage. How I manage, that depends upon my style of relating. The next one is developing stewardship in others. It's not enough that I alone exercise this, but also I train others to develop this particular quality called stewardship. Hans Finsel, he would say in his leadership book, a good leader not only creates success, but a good leader also creates successes. So it means if I am a steward leader as a professor in the class, at least I must create some of my students as stewards. So in my absence, they also take my role, my place, and become stewards. The next quality is sustainability. What is the sustainability? Wherever we are, we must remember. For example, I am a sister superior, of a community in Nagarkovil. So I have the money of my province and my congregation. So as much as possible, every month I have some income. Two teachers are teaching in a school. The income comes to sustain the community. I should not also, deplete all the sources that are available. I need to also save. So I must know I have 30 days in a month. So I should not spend the entire money within 1 week itself. So as a superior of the community, be it a male or a female, I should be able to manage the resource and income that I have that is meant for the entire month. And in between, some emergency could happen. A priest or a brother or a sister can fall sick, or you need to make an immediate journey because somebody's family has some what to say tragedy, somebody passed away, and immediately you are taking your jeep and the entire community is going for the funeral. These are unexpected expenses. So when you have resources, we need to keep that in mind, and accordingly you should exercise your leadership. This is called stewardship leadership. And the seventh one is ethics. Every community, every province, every congregation, every school, every college, every parish, every diocese, they have different ethics. So steward leadership uphold ethical principles of their life and work. Work. So when I am in Bata Shoe Company, I must produce only Bata shoes. So when I am working in Holy Cross College, when I am working Seradat College, when I am working college in Sungangadai, when I am working Bishop Anjaswamy College, they will have their own style of practicing moral and ethical values. And as long as I am there as part of their organization, I am supposed to practice ethics that are proposed by that particular organization. And Jesus is the best example for stewardship leadership. Genesis chapter 1, 1 to 27. Psalm 24, 2. Deuteronomy 8, 10 to 8. Genesis 2, 15. Genesis 1, 28 to 30. First Peter, letter of St. Peter, chapter 4, verse 10. In all these things, we can see how this leadership quality called steward leadership is exhibited beautifully. The next yes is spiritual leadership. This is the fourth yes that we are going to see, that is spiritual leadership. What is the spiritual leadership? Spirituality and religion are related, but they are not the same. Someone can follow spirituality without belonging to a religion, or all those who are belonging to a religion need not be spiritual. For example, there are some of us who can be very regular in going to church to attend mass, but still we may not be spiritual priests and spiritual sisters, because in the church we are very holy, whole time folding our hands like this, etc. But we come out of the mass, you can't even smile at others. So just because you and I belong to a religion, it does not automatically make us spiritual leaders. It is something different. So spirituality refers to the methods of maintaining connectedness to something larger than oneself. Maybe the ways of finding meaning in life, the disciple of living one's life in a loving and sacred manner, and one can be spiritual without being a member of an organized religion. So some of the atheists, no, atheist is it's too much. Some of the people who don't follow in a religion very strictly, they can be very spiritual also. So the spiritual leadership can be described as the capacity to motivate and inspire both oneself and others. Okay, for example, they say if you go through a perfume shop, you will come out, having the perfume in your body. In the same way, if you are a spiritual leader, those who are relating with you also will become spiritual. So what are the characteristics of a spiritual leader? If you are a spiritual leader, you will have some characteristics. The first one, knowing those under one's care. So I know them. I know them by name. You are there for 1 month teaching in a classroom and you don't know the names of your students. Within 1 week, hardly within 2-3 days itself, you should be able to know the names of the people. They say that you can never teach history to Sheba without knowing the history of Sheba. You can never teach history to Sheba without knowing the history of Sheba. It means we must know individually, as teachers and educators, every students in my class, because I am not teaching to a class of people, but I am teaching to every individual in the class. So knowing those who are under one's care is actually part of spiritual leadership. Second one, enabling people to see the whole picture. When you are presenting something to your students, you should be able to give the full picture. Then only they will be able to understand. For example, they say that you can never understand a text without the context. So context is very important. So present them the full picture, and there they will be able to understand the part of the picture. So as a leader, you should be able to say you are following this particular course, so that after following this course, you will be able to achieve this. So they will be able to understand the every course. For example, every Saturday you are attending a seminar. At the end of attending a 2 or 3 month seminar, every Saturday one session, you will be able to see this particular Saturday seminar is understood in view of the entire seminar that runs throughout the year. The next one is dealing with others respectfully. We need to respect whether they are young or old, whether they are rich or poor. So, as the golden rule of the Bible says, treat others as you would like to be treated. So, if you want to, garner or receive respect, then give respect to others. Next is communicating honestly and gently. Children also like, be it small children or even college going students, communicate to them honestly and gently. When you speak the truth. There is no dilly-dallying. There is no double talk. There is no double meaning. But you say one thing and you exactly mean that. And also communicate to people gently. When we gently relate to others, when we gently communicate to people, then they will also listen to us. The next one is giving rather than taking. In a groundbreaking book titled Give and Take, Adam Grant offers research based evidence. He says there are people, they give to others more than by trying to take from others. They say there are two types of people in the world, givers and takers. The givers sleep well, takers eat well. How to understand this? If you are a taker from this world, whole time you are taking to yourself. But if everybody takes everything, who will give? So we are able to take in as much as they are givers. So as a spiritual leader, we should be able to give to others. So as a leader of a group, we are supposed to practice win-win attitude. I also gain as a leader and you also gain as member. For example, I am actually the speaker for this webinar. No, I am also learning from the seminar by preparing this talk of 1 hour and 20 minutes. It is not just like that I come and talk. So I have to read, I have to collect material, I have to shortlist my ideas, I have to put them together, I prepared my slides and I present to you. This is a beautiful learning experience for me right from the moment I was invited for giving this webinar. And I also learned from this, and all those who are listening to me so far, you will be also learning from. So this is called win-win. The next one is being value based. Okay, we need to have some value, moral and ethical principles in our leadership. So we say we had this parish priest. This parish priest was a wonderful man. He had a love for the poor. He finishes his sermon by 7 to 10 minutes. No, vala vala kola kola. To the point he preaches. So people have responded. Whenever we go, immediately the parish priest asks us to sit down on the chair. So some principle, and the parish priest is office is very neat and tidy, and whenever we go he approaches us in a very beautiful manner. In that way, this is called value based leadership. The next one is being God centered. Spiritual people, spiritual leadership people are God centered. Whatever they do, they focus on God, be it prayer, meditation, journaling, reading, nature walk, other ways of nourishing one's inner life. In everything, they could see God. So they are God centered people. So Jesus is a beautiful example of spiritual leadership. Jesus not only emphasized the importance of spirituality, he lived it. Jesus was not just a preacher. Jesus was able to preach with authority because he lived it. He was fully God centered and spent considerable time in prayer. So he gave to the extent of laying down his life for others. So he not only preached love, he not only preached service, but he lived that. He loved us so much that he gave his life for us. And the last type of leadership before going to transformational leadership, it is the self leadership. So where does self leadership start? It starts with you. It starts with me. So each one, if you and I want to be a self leader, it has to start from us. So what is self-leadership? Self-leadership is the process of directing oneself. No, you don't need others to come and direct you. I, first of all, lead myself. I know as a mother what to do. I know as a parish priest what to do. I know as a leader of a community, religious community, as a religious superior, what to do. As an administrator, as an animator, as a principal, as a clerk, as a chemistry professor, okay, as a physics professor, I know how to direct myself. So importance of self-leadership. Self-leadership is actually important because it enables us to decide whether what we want to do and what we want to achieve in our life, then take the steps necessary for that. So if there is no self-leadership, it would be like having a car but no engine and no steering wheel. I am there, but I am not directing myself. Then it is like your life is like a car without engine. What is the use of having a car where the engine is moved, the steering wheel is moved? So handing over responsibility for our lives to others instead of taking responsibility for our lives. My life, my responsibility. My life, I have to live. My way, I have to walk. This is called self-leadership. So skills needed for self-leadership. What are they? I will briefly list. First of all, self-awareness. I need to be aware of myself, who I am. I am a priest. I am a father of 2 children. I am a mother of 1 child. I am a physics professor. I am the principal of the college. I am the superior of the community. So the self-awareness, it brings before us what kind of person I need to be, what kind of leadership I need to practice. The second one is discerning what we really want. What I really want, from my life, from this leadership. So exactly, I must know there will be a lot of things confusing us, but from that I will be able to choose it. The next one, goal setting and planning. So goal setting has to be specific. As you see on the slide, it has to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. The next one is constructive thinking. Okay, so we have evolved over millions of years, and there will be a lot of threats and challenges, and we need to, in order to face the challenges, we need to think creatively and innovatively, and we need to have positive, what to say, mindset. Next one is optimizing motivation. We need to constantly motivate ourselves. How? Every day without forgetting, we are charging our mobile phone. That is a kind of motivating our mobile phone. In the same way, we need to motivate ourselves. We need to charge ourselves in order to be a self-leader. The next one is harnessing support. We need to also get support from others. Okay, if you are a self leader, that not only I do the things, I get the skills and talents of others put together and do it. The next one is embracing, okay, and cultivating something called, courage. Grit means courage. So cultivate courage when you have, failures. All of us are actually, undergo failures from time to time, but we should not consider our failures as, something that is taking us, down the slope, but they can be considered as stepping stone for success. So as Ben Shar wisely said, learn to fail or fail to learn. Those who don't learn how to fail, then they are failing to learn. Now, for to practice all this, I am not going to tell you elaborately this. Now, only I will highlight some points. We need humility. One important point that we need to practice is humility in leadership. Now, humility from the perspective of leadership. So, humility can be considered as the willingness to see oneself accurately, that if I have the right understanding of who I am, then I am humble. Being humble does not mean refusing our talents and saying that I don't have talent. No, understanding myself who I am, that is called humility. So the characteristics of a humble leader. What are the characteristics? For example, sorry. So why humility is important? For 5 things, humility is important. The first one, Only when you have humility, you will become accessible. It gives you great influence. You foster innovation. You instill sense of mission, and it also generates better outcome. So, what are some of the characteristics of a humble leader? The humble leader has a desire to learn, willingness to listen. They focus on collaboration, and collaboration means team. The team, what does it mean as an acronym? Together, everyone achieves more. And the humble leaders also, they have the willingness to accept and take responsibility for their mistakes, and they are also authentic. Authenticity we have already seen. So developing humility, how we can develop humility if you and I do not have humility? Be a constant learner. Continuously learn, then you become humble. That is, I don't know everything, so I have to learn. Second one, pay attention to the way you speak, how I speak, my body language, my eye contact, okay, etc. Thirdly, find ways, give credit to others. Always appreciate others, give credit. Fourth one, welcome feedback. Never close up your doors. Always ask others, okay, why didn't you say something about today's seminar, today's school day, my dance, my lecture, etc. Fifth one, treat others with respect. When you treat others with respect, then we become humble leaders. Different types of humility we need to practice in order to become transformational. The first one is intellectual humility. That is, I don't know everything. That is called intellectual humility. Second one, interpersonal humility. நீ என்ன சொல்றது? No, I also need you. I relate with you. Third one, experiential humility. Don't think that your experience is everybody's experience. Each one's experience is different. One size doesn't fit all. Therefore, also understand the context of others. Next one, cultural humility. Respect the custom, beliefs, and traditions of others, because everyone's culture is different. Family culture, religious culture, contextual culture, everything is different. Respect. Next one is intergenerational humility. Okay, you should be able to also know the senior people, at the same time children. The next one is moral humility. Remember, you have your own morality. At the same time, you should be also able to know, but others also have their own ethics, their own morality. Next one is spiritual humility. Always know that there is God, and God actually helps me to be humble. Mother Teresa said very beautiful, no? I am a little pencil in the hand of a writing God who is sending a love letter to the world. So, as a pencil, I should be able to allow myself to be broken, sharpened, and gradually I also will become smaller. Such a humility we need to have, like Mother Teresa. Now, against the backdrop of all that we seen only, we should be able to understand transformation leadership. If we have understood all the leadership styles properly, then transformational leadership will be easy. A model of motivating innovation. So remember the 5 leadership styles. Before that, the 6 leadership style of Daniel Goleman, and the humility, etc. Against this background only, we can become a transformational leader. First, I am going to tell you the top 10 takeaways of a transformational leader. So, all that, against the background of all that we have seen, the first one, a transformational leader inspires, motivates, and follows followers to achieve extraordinary things. Secondly, transformational leader inspire their followers, achieve their full potential rather than simply managing them. Thirdly, they create a vision of working together for a future. Their vision is very clear, and towards the vision, they walk with their group. The fourth one, transformation leaders focus less on making decision, more on facilitating organizational or community collaboration. The fifth one, they embrace change. Don't say that traditionally we have been doing this, we do this. No, a culture of accountability, ownership, and workplace autonomy. Give freedom to people. If a teacher is in charge of the cultural dance for the school day, Give her the responsibility and the freedom, how long it should be, what song to choose, what costume, what are the other makeup and all she has to do, how many children to dance. So that autonomy we need to give. The sixth one, create the change necessary. So allow change to happen. Seventh one, teamwork or community work. Our community, though I am a community leader as a sister, it is a teamwork. Next one, the transformational leaders, they think that everyone is an agent of change because technology is changing. Every day, new things are appearing, and accordingly, we need to undergo change. And the ninth one, they inspire and motivate and their members without micromanaging. What is micromanaging? You give a responsibility, but whole time you give them directions. That is not a good leadership. Give them the responsibility, explain them, then afterwards give them the space to manage on their own. And the 10th one is, it's a management style that is designed to give members more room to be creative, look to the future, and find new solutions to old problems. Now, there's a difference between transformational relationship and transactional relationship. We need to know this difference, then we can understand better what is transformational relationship. For example, transactional relationship, they have short-term results, but a transformational long-term results. Here they have micromanagement, that is less freedom. Here macro management, that is you can manage more freedom. This side you have planning, organizing and controlling, and this side you have communication, feedback and empathy. This side you have motivation based on reward and punishment. If you do this, you will have reward, otherwise punishment. But this time, transformation leadership, motivation focused on inspiration, creativity, and personal growth. And this side, transactional, you have strict adherence to standards and procedures. And this side, you have encouraging innovation, change, relationship, etc. This side, you have transactional hierarchy, but this side, very strict, flexible, and hierarchy. For example, you are sitting in a table to eat, 10 of you, and there are fixed chairs. No, this is the superior's chairs, this is the parish priest chairs, this is the provincial chair, etc. No, here same food is given, chair does not matter, you can sit anywhere. That is called transformational leadership. Chair does not fill my stomach, it is what is coming on my plate that fills my stomach. This can be applicable to everywhere, okay, not only in the refectory but anywhere. The next one, transactional leadership and transformational leadership. Transactional, there is more of exchange, incentive, control, and job finishing. But in transformational leadership, there will be engagement, inspiration, empowerment, and people getting changed. So, a transformational leadership involves relationship, roles, responsibilities, and results. So now coming to transformation leadership, 4 important things we need to remember. That is idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, individualized consideration. These 4 things we need to remember because this is very much part of transformational leadership. That is idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individualized consideration. Let us see one by one. Idealized influence. What is that? They set a strong example by exhibiting high ethical standards, inspiring trust and respect, modeling moral conduct. That is, as a leader, what you are expecting from your followers, your fellow teachers, parishioners, etc., you live that. You are the living model, and that's how you inspire others. So, in simple terms, we can say that we lead by example as a role model. The second one, inspirational motivators. Okay, what is that? we motivate and excite the followers, encourage them to exceed their expectation. How is that? For example, you tell your teachers this year you should have 85% of result, in this particular subject, and you motivate them in such a way that they get not only 85, they get 95. The third one is intellectual stimulation. Now, as a transformational leader, what you must inspire in others is that they are able to critically think, not just repeat what you say, always putting ama sama, yeah, yes, 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 like that. No, not like that. They should be able to tell you, no, why can't we do this? A critical thinking, critical evaluation, there are different ways of doing things, etc. And the fourth one is individualized consideration. That is, in a classroom, in a setting, pay individual attention. In the community, there are different types of people will be there. One senior sister will be there, one young sister will be there, one perpetually professed, one sick sister, one junior sister, maybe one novice who has come for community experience. You need to give individual attention to everyone in the community, then only you become a transformational leader. Okay. Now, what are the 5 traits of a successful transformational leader in common? Okay. Some of the things that we have seen, they come here. Practice self-awareness, remain open-minded, adaptive and innovative, very creative and adjusting, proactive, and lead with humility. Okay, let us see one by one. Self-awareness. What is self-awareness? Every day try to know yourself, who you are, whether you are a good leader, a good religious, good sister, etc., and try to improve. Secondly, open-minded. No, try to be open to new things, new learning, regularly gather feedback. No, in the transformational leadership, no, all that we have seen earlier, they come. So I need not repeat them. I'm only trying to tell them from the previous type of leadership, what are the things we need to integrate in order to become a transformational leadership. So open-mindedness. Next one is adaptive and innovative. That is, not afraid to alter traditional approaches. If you see some religious congregations, some sisters, how they were having their habits in the olden days, and now you have come to the level of color saris and chudidars, etc. It means your congregation has been adaptive and innovative. Next one, they are proactive. What is proactive? All the leaders must know this. Reactive and proactive. That is, proactive means you take initiative and anticipate the situation that is going to happen. Okay, for example, your project is there. Within 1 week, I am supposed to complete. What are the other engagements are coming? Family, there is a wedding coming. I need to attend a funeral. I need to go for some shopping. I need to wash my clothes, and all these things. All these things you need to keep in mind, and accordingly you plan your work. That is called proactive. Otherwise, you will become reactive. Lead with humility. I have already told you what is leading with humility. Therefore, I need not explain this. So now we are going to see some characteristics. Just the title alone keep in mind. Based on all that we have seen so far, characteristics of a transformational leaders include, first of all, you are a visionary. Secondly, you are charismatic. Thirdly, you are empowering. Fourthly, you are innovative. Fifthly, you are ethical. Sixthly, you are communicative. Seventhly, you are collaborative. Eighth, you are resilient. Ninth, you have the self-awareness. 10th, you are empathetic. 11th, you are emotionally intelligent. Very, very important. Emotionally intelligent. And who are some of the transformational leadership? We are not going to see them one by one. Most of them we know by name. Mahatma Gandhi is a transformational leader. That's why even now he is remembered. Nehru is a transformational leader. Next one, Indira Gandhi, Ambedkar, Vinoba Bhave, Tata, Narayana Murthy, Vineet Nair. No, Vineet Nair is the CEO of HCL Technologies. He is known for his employee-centric approach. No, are we student-centered, children-centered? We need to check. K.R. Narayanan, okay, one of our former 10th President of India. Rabindranath Tagore, Satyajit Ray, one of the famous, Bengali film director. Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., okay, Jr. Then Winston Churchill, Abraham Lincoln, okay, and now the contemporary ones, okay, for example, Jeff Bezos of Amazon, we all of us are famous with Amazon, then Apple, Steve Jobs, who is no more, and Tim Cook, then Satya Nadella of Microsoft, Emmanuel Faber of Danone. Then from the church, you can see Pope John the 23rd, Pope Paul the 6th, Pope John Paul the 2nd, Pope Pius the 12th, Pope Francis, what to say, of our beautiful memory. Then Mother Teresa, okay, we all of us know. And Dorothy Day, the co-founded the Catholic Worker Movement. Some of the sisters congregations are very much familiar with this. And Archbishop Desmond Tutu, okay, of South Africa. And Thomas Merton, a spiritual author. Oscar Romero. All these people are actually transformational leaders. So if you read their life and contribution, we will know what transformation leadership is. So I have finished within 1 hour and 20 minutes given the time, and thank you very much for your patient listening, and thank the Bishop Anjaswamy College of Education, Father Madan, and the principal, and Mr. Prince, who invited me for this webinar. So once again, thank you one and all for your patient listening.
Thank you, Father. Dear participants, this is the time for you. If you want to have any clarification or otherwise something to express, you can have the conversation with our resource person now.
So, good evening. So I'm really happy, Father Arnold Magesh. Thank you for accepting our invitation and giving us a wonderful presentation. I was fully listening. You have prepared it so well, and so much of trouble you have taken. I liked it, and thank you for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Father. Thank you. I think Father Madan, is it not?
Yeah. I'm the one only.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Father. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question. Actually,
Yeah.
you have so many things you have said, so many types of leadership you have said. I'm really happy. So many things. One little thing that I would like to ask you.
Yeah.
See, those examples you have said from India, either it is from Mahatma Gandhi or Mother Teresa or Ambedkar, mentioning as the example for transformation leadership. So they were all from a situation behind, no? Some situation posed them to be like this. Okay. So how can we make, is it something like, of course, and I understood the concept and all, no, transformation leadership, inspiring, humility, innovative, and then, even they die also, their life always, motivating. Those things I understand. Okay. So the significant or the uniqueness of transformation leadership, from comparing with the different types of leadership, how can we make it? No, this is the one very substantial core ideas which significantly we can find in the transformation leadership. If you make it in a very brief, in a sharply, then it is very easy to understand. Maybe the distinction. That's one thing. The another thing is it they are born with these qualities or a situation made them to become like this? Yeah.
Father, in the transformational leadership itself, the core idea I have given you, within 4 points. Though I have given you, what to say, a lot of inputs. Towards the end, if I'm not mistaken, I gave in 4 squares. You
Yeah, okay, yeah,
remember?
understood. Yeah.
Yeah. That is actually typical of a transformation or a transfer a leader with a transformative qualities.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it is not that when you have only these you become a transformational leader, but this idealized influence. For example, when I have a good ethical moral standard, I become a transformation leader because I am leading an ethical life, integral life. Secondly, I lead my life as a leader in an inspirational way, that I become an inspiration. And third one, not only I inspire, but also intellectually stimulate, to live like me as a transformation leader. And the last one is, if you are a transformational leader, you don't just relate with people as a group, but you pay individual attention. So
Okay.
be it a parish priest or a community member, etc. For example, I'm not very comfortable with the one term that you used, that is situation forced them. No, they have made a choice. For example, Mother Teresa, no, she was in Loreto convent and she knew what it is to be outside, and she made a conscious and free choice to come out of the situation, and now she has become the mother of the like that. So I think it is not situation forced them, situation enabled them to make a
Yeah.
free
Okay.
choice to be in that.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you for thanks for the question.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah.
So I'd like to present the vote of thanks right now. Gratitude is the inward feeling of kindness received. Good evening to one and all. It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for today's enlightening session on behalf of my college Bace. First and foremost, I express my profound gratitude to our esteemed resource person, Reverend Dr. Arnold Mahesh SDP, Dean of Philosophy at St. Peter's Pontifical Institute, Bengaluru. Father, your insights on leading with purpose and transforming with humility have truly redefined our understanding of leadership. Thank you for sharing your valuable time and wisdom with us today, Father. Thank you, dear Father. I sincerely thank our correspondent, Reverend Dr. Alvin Madanraj, for his support and for providing the platform to organize such meaningful academic events. Thank you, Father. My heartfelt thanks also goes to our principal, Dr. Jasmine Sheila Burney. Her leadership and encouragement are the driving forces behind every successful initiative at Bishop Anjaswamy College of Education. Thank you, dear ma'am. A special mention to our program coordinator and IQSC coordinator of our college, Dr. El Xavier Prince. Thank you for your meticulous planning and dedication in ensuring this event transitioned smoothly from concept to reality. Thank you, sir. I also extend my thanks to my fellow staff and the collaborative efforts and spirit by them. Finally, I'd like to thank all the participants, Reverend Fathers, Sisters, other college principals, and staff members. A seminar is only as good as its audience, and your active presence and engagement have made this session truly interactive and successful. Once again, I thank each and every one of you for making this event a grand success. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.